I actually want to see what the trouble is with isekai.
How's it going, boys and
Like, what's happening with my beloved medium of schlop?
how's it going, boys and girls? It's your boy, the #1 isekai hater on anime YouTube. At least that's
He is, though.
what some people call me on the internet for some reason. Maybe because I have openly many times expressed my disappointment in the current state of the anime industry with just the sheer amount of isekai drivel that seems to have been
Dude, I love it, though. I love it. Maybe it's because, like, it's brain dead stuff, so you just, I don't know, I feel the same way when I'm reading manhwa. A lot of it's like the same stuff, man, the same iteration
existing for at least the past 5, possibly 10 years. And for the longest time, I
like, think about Solo Leveling. They didn't create that sort of storyline, but after it, the amount of like fucking Jinwoo clones that came after is insane.
kept thinking to myself, damn, is the problem with me? Have I just become the unk that just hates all modern isekai now?
And he's been an unk for a while when it comes to like anime. I'm not even kidding.
And I'm just sitting here by myself, shaking my fist and yelling at the cloud for these anime industry people to stop making all of these isekai slop that people forget about after 3 months. Is it just a me problem, or are the kids the problem? Well, we have a very interesting article
What happened?
that just came out today over on Automaton Media. Shout out as
Not
always. Thank you
Kadokawa,
for bringing
the goats.
the most pivotal of anime news that people may or may not care about. It says here, Kadokawa cites excessive reliance on the isekai genre as one of the major causes of the decline in profitability in its domestic publishing business. No, not Daddy Kadokawa. Come on, Dad.
Dude, the
But for those
goats,
of you who
man.
have no idea what Kadokawa even is. Kadokawa is one of, I believe, like the top 5 or something like that, the big 5, if you will, publishing companies here in Japan. Massive conglomerate. They also own Geeks Plus, which is the agency that I am a part of, having known for many decades to produce some amazing manga, anime, light novels, all things otaku related. But it seems that according to Kadokawa themselves, they haven't been doing all that crash hot. So let's figure out what
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see here. This is repertoire. Is that the word of Kadokawa? Your name, right? Konosuba, Shield Hero, Mid Hero, Overlord. Holy dude. Michoko Tensei. This is the king of isekai, man. Made in Abyss. I actually don't remember. Made in Abyss. That's cool. Sword Art Online. Alicization. Goated. ReZero. Ugh. My appetite is gone now.
exactly their statements may be concerning all of that. Last week, Japanese manga, anime, and game publishing giant Kadokawa announced its consolidated earnings results for the fiscal year ended March 2026, a couple of months ago. According to the report, the company suffered a 51.3% decrease in operating profit compared to the previous year, driven by the poor performance of its core publishing and IP creation business. 51.3%.
Decrease.
Half. For any company,
Brother.
regardless of how big or small that is a devastating drop off to see. In the recently published midterm management plan for the period between financial year 2026 and 2031, Kadokawa cites excessive reliance on existing winning patterns as one of the major factors contributing to the declining profit across the publishing sector. Specifically, the company has acknowledged a recent bias towards proven genres such as
They're a company, though. What it comes down to it, they're a company. So like it's actually what comes down to YouTubers. Well, YouTubers, when they find like a niche that like people really like, they lean into it like a lot. Especially, it's actually more rampant in like short form content. I noticed this because I wanted to do it back when I was doing like meme edits or whatever. I was doing these like league edits. League, right? I'm right, guys. But then I did this one format that people actually enjoyed, and I was like, holy shit, I should pump out more. I did like 6, and I was like, wait, I'm doing the same stuff. let me switch it up. But that's just me. But like with a lot of creators, they find that like format and they just keep going, man.
isekai and naroke, inevitably leading
It's the numbers, man. It makes you go crazy, dude.
towards market saturation and worsening profitability. According to Kadokawa, the formulaic approach and a clear lack of depth of content diversity is what's been preventing its domestic publication business from exploring new genres and taking...
They need to explore new stuff, man. I've been wanting to put like a list down of like manhwas that I really want adapted, and at the top of my list is like I want this adapted, man. Revenge of the Baskerville Bloodhound. Holy, this one is like, it's so good because it doesn't, I don't know, it's kind of happy, but on the other side, it's also really not, man. You drop this, man. It's good, man. Where did you guys drop this? Because I think it's worth an adaptation.
Working on innovative projects. Now, I am about to say something here that I am sure 99.9% of people have already typed away in their comments. No shit. I have been mentioning this for many years on this channel, on my main channel, on the podcast, every opportunity that I can to talk about the isekai genre and talk about the current state of anime today. No shit, it hasn't been working, because you know what? People are sick of the same formulaic anime over and over and over again. And yes, there obviously has been this recent bias towards proven genres. Now, this is not just a Kadokawa problem, okay?
It's another one problem.
There is this whole idea of order, or I guess the Royal Road, that's what it's called, the Royal Road progression, which is essentially a word that is used in Japanese, which refers to things that are not exactly new or innovative, but just a proven genre, a proven thing, something that has worked for,
I mean, a country steeped in tradition and like honoring traditions, it kind of makes sense that they, you know, they find something and then like stick to it because it's
many
seems
years,
right,
many
you know,
decades in some instances, and has become basically the staple of whatever genre or thing that you are talking about. In the case with, say, things like Shueisha, their order would be shonen battle manga. In the case with, say, Gekkan Dibon, a shoujo publishing magazine, the order would be things like school romances. It's a thing that has worked in the past and has continued to work because people like familiarity. People like things that are familiar to what they have previously read, with maybe a slight new thing that is added into it to make sure that it's not a complete one-to-one copy of something that they have read or consumed previously. And in the case with Daddy Kadokawa,
bad side, very saturated genre. That's the bad side. The good side is people will keep refining it. They'll keep making up new stuff. They'll copy the homework, but then change a little bit about it. Maybe make it a little better, maybe make it a little worse. It's kind of like evolution. Later down the line, someone's made the final copy of this long, like, telephone game where it seems really perfect. You know what I mean? So, like, people just copy and then make a new one, change a couple of things, make it better and better. But it is oversaturated, though. I'm just thinking of it in the mind of, like, someone who likes reading roughly the same type of manhwa.
Kawa here, that order, that Royal Road progression, the proven genre, has been things like isekai and naroke. Now, everyone knows what isekai is, but maybe people don't know what naroke is. Naroke is the term that is used in, I guess, the online light novel publishing, you know, in a lot of shousetsuka naro, stuff like that, where people basically use this whole idea of, like, overpowered protagonists, or isekai, or, you know, reincarnating into certain things, you know, naro being like, let's become something. Again, take it from the
okay, like reincarnated as a sword. Can't wait for the second season.
Naro website, which is a website for those of you who don't know, which is a self-publishing novel website where a lot of the, especially recent anime adaptations and big isekai shows that have come out and have been talked about in the community in Japan come from. And this is no bashing towards shousetsuka naro, because there have actually been a lot of really interesting stories that have come out of shousetsuka naro over the years that are not just within the isekai genre, but clearly as of recently, because of the massive success of the isekai genre and how a lot of the isekai stuff has come from shousetsuka naro, that has also been lumped into the Royal Road, the proven genre that has worked for Kadokawa for many years. While Kadokawa has been actively implementing measures and hiring more editors in order to expand the number of published titles without bearing a load on staff, this has also proven to negatively impact its business, leading to an increase in titles lacking originality or quality. And I think that's
that's just isekai, man.
It is, right? Is that, like, I don't think Kadokawa and all these other publishers that have just bet all of their money into the isekai genre and bet all of their money into the Ordo shows realize that just because it worked 5-10 years ago, it doesn't mean it's going to continue working for the rest of time, because people are wanting to start to achieve for more. People are wanting to strive to actually read and consume something that maybe they have never consumed and read before, because there is only so much you can do with a genre like isekai or naroke. There's only so many changes.
True. I think the main appeal of isekai to me, if I get rid of, like, all the slop, there's still some slop left, but the main appeal for me is, like, when it goes to a fantasy world or like a world where it's steeped in magic, so they like focus on magic way too hard to the point where like they don't advance as much as like we do without magic, you know. And the MC brings in like current day technologies or like inventions. That's what I love about isekai. And I don't know, man. Is there a good like separation of things like that from isekai? Because that's what isekai should be in my ideal, really. Because I don't mind having an isekai and the protagonist doesn't do that, but it's kind of like, what's the freaking point of being isekai, you know? Just make a fantasy like anime or whatever. What's the point of the isekai thing? That actually, I take it back. I don't like that. If an anime is an isekai and it kind of just forgets that it's an isekai and then carries on as a fantasy anime, it's kind of boring. It's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like what exactly is the point? The only isekai I liked is Konosuba. Well, think about it though. Think about it, because we've all watched isekai at some point, even before anime. You know. Let's not think about it in terms of anime too. The Forbidden Kingdom, one of my favorite isekais. Hey, all right, dude. This white kid gets bullied, pushed off the roof, gets isekai to a different world. Jokes on you, I haven't watched it. Dude, it's not about watching this. It's about thinking in your head. What movies have you watched or shows have you watched that are not necessarily anime that have this isekai situation? It's just being in a different world, you know?
And small, minute details.
You don't know you love isekai until you really think about it.
That you can make to this kind of setting or genre before you've kind of basically just done everything. And even if you may not have done everything, even if we may not have read every single fucking inanimate object being turned into an isekai protagonist, people are...
Hold on. Let's relax now. The vending machine anime is not that bad.
Just going to be like, oh, okay, so it's basically the exact same story, except now instead of our main character being turned into a refrigerator, he is turned into an AC unit. Like, how possibly can you differentiate and make those two ideas interesting and unique and separate from one another? The answer is, you can't. But again, this is such a typical thing for not just Kadokawa, but every Japanese company to do. They look at one thing that has achieved massive success that has been unprecedented, and they go, okay, how can we milk this cow to the fucking bone?
It's a company. Yes. It's short-term gain versus long-term gain, and they generally choose short-term because it looks good for the investors at that time, you know?
And even if we have milked it to the fucking bone, how can we keep kicking at it to make sure that it produces more milk?
Which is kind of cringe when you think about it. Like, investors, how they work is, if you're not getting them bigger and bigger numbers, even though they're profitable anyway, it's just that if the next year is less profitable than the previous year, just by a bit, dude, you're still profitable. Words? Profitable by a long margin. They're like, oh, I gotta pull out, you know? Sorry, man. I gotta pull it out and then put it into something else. What was I talking about? Right. Yeah, I was definitely talking about investors.
The answer is you can't, because the consumers of manga, anime, gaming, and all of these isekai slop that is produced are not brainless, personality-less AI robots that are just adding to the numbers. They're people, and people eventually are going to start to get fucking bored.
Yes, but the people are...
And you give them the same food over and over again. A steak from a 5-star restaurant is great, but if you eat it every day, then sometimes you're going to want to eat a hamburger. To tackle the issue, the company will focus on rebranding its genre strategy while implementing stricter criteria for greenlighting projects. Furthermore, a strong emphasis has been placed on the restructuring of the publication business, with the Publication Steering Committee being established in November 2025 as a system for implementing fundamental structural reforms. Okay, so that's basically just fucking corporate jargon to say, like, yeah, we're going to start re-evaluating how many isekai shows we produce, because it seems like for the past couple of years, anytime we see the word isekai in a title, anytime we see a title that is longer than 50 characters, instant green light, because I'm sure some isekai lover out there is going to eat up that slop. And look,
hey, who would do such a thing? What kind of slop eating freak would do that? Why my hands up? I don't know. Let me put him down.
Look, before people start jumping to conclusions about, oh, this is just Joey shitting on isekai again for the sake of shitting on isekai, I want to make this point abundant.
No. This is valid. This is valid shit. Isekai has been like slop for the longest time, even before this whole boom of like the was it five to like 8 years, 6 or 7 years maybe, of just pumping out isekais. dude, in manga manhwa, isekai's always been slop.
Okay,
the whole
I
time.
don't hate all isekai anime. In fact, there are a lot of fantastic isekai anime out there that exist that made the genre popular for a reason. Shows like ReZero, Log Horizon, No Game No Life, Overlord. These were interesting isekai shows that proved to have staying power even after we've seen 1,000
Why did he have to say the slur, man?
iterations of the isekai genre that have clearly taken influence from these early shows. The problem isn't that isekai is bad and we should just destroy all isekai. The problem is that there is just too much slop and crap that is sitting on the surface that is blocking out and putting a bad name on every other show that fits under that same genre.
100%. Now, if I could root through my entire list here and check which isekais are good, because I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot here. And there's one I can't, I was gonna bring up before, but I think when isekai is good is when it's actually vital. There's like a point to them being isekai'd or whatever, you know?
Because we saw the exact same thing with superhero movies when the whole Marvel and DC cinematic universe was starting to...
True. Everyone was like soy jacking, like, whoa, did you guys see the new Avengers out?
really pick up and boom, you know.
Now everyone's like, oh, another Marvel movie. Awesome.
Like the Avengers timeline, everybody fucking loved them. And regardless of how much you personally enjoyed each of those superhero movies, you can still admit that some of them were actually pretty good. And I can say the same thing. Like, I didn't really give a fuck about the whole Marvel and DC universe, but I still really enjoyed Deadpool. I enjoyed the first Iron Man. But when you start to make the same thing over and over and over again and just repackage it with a different name and a different set of characters, then everybody's going to start getting bored. And now look at what's happened with the whole super...
Thor had an identity, and then they made it Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, what? Yes, it's funny, but like, what? We're just turning every Marvel movie into Guardians of the Galaxy for what, dude?
Hero Marvel Cinematic Universe. No one gives a fuck about it anymore. I don't think there is anything wrong with making brand new isekai. I don't think Kadokawa should stop making isekai altogether, but what they should do is do a quality assurance to make sure that the new isekai title that comes out is something that is actually different and actually unique.
True.
And new to the genre. We don't need all of these fucking, oh, I got hit by a truck for the 50,000th fucking time and turned into an inanimate
Hey, yo. Truck-kun did nothing wrong, okay? Truck-kun did nothing wrong. He just drives around. It's not his fault. People just step out for no reason.
While the fucking heroine with big boobies is taking me around to defeat the fucking demon lord. I can probably name you about 50 different series with that exact plot that I just said to you. That's the big reason why, especially recently, we have seen almost a resurgence of just the fantasy genre that doesn't necessarily have to be isekai. And it may be a big reason.
True, and a lot of isekais need to just be fantasy because there's nothing. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it, man. If we don't have a point to them being isekai, just make fantasy, man. Stop.
As to why the light novel industry in the West and especially in Japan has dipped tremendously, because whenever you go to a bookstore and you go through the new light novel entries that come out, it's all just a bunch of isekai and Naruto stuff that you've seen 50,000 times. And as much as I want to put the blame on publishing companies like Kadokawa for bringing those kinds of titles out into the spotlight through anime adaptations, I also kind of need to blame the people who are writing these isekai slop as well, because when you take one look at these kinds of isekai slop shows, it's clearly obvious that they're not doing it because they're actually passionate about writing or creative storytelling or anything like that, you know, trying to convey a message through their works or anything like that. They clearly see that isekai is a big genre that sells like hotcakes because people are too familiar with the genre and think that, oh, if I make it an isekai, then it'll become popular, without actually putting any kind of a creative spin on it, because they know that mindless isekai fans are just going to slop it up and read it up because it's an isekai show. When what they should be doing is taking the isekai genre and doing something unique with it, doing something creative.
Here it is. I've said this one before. I think this is the right one. Yes, it is. Leon Lionheart, my goat. My goat. He beats Jinwoo any day of the week, man. This is such a good manhwa. I need this adapted. He's such a giga chad. He gets isekai to another world where they're fighting demons, becomes king, lives for like 300 years. His whole world gets destroyed because of the portals that open up and demons come in, and he's still there fighting. And then he gets re-isekai'd after he defeats all the demons, back to Korea, back to his same world, pretends that he was just from the other world. He just completely forgets his other life of being like just a Korean loser that died in a ditch somewhere. And to be honest, it makes sense. He only lived for like 20 years in that time. When he got isekai'd, he lived in this world for like 300 years. So, you know, it's one of those things that I would attest to that. I was born in Tonga, but like I lived in the UK for like way longer. I'm You know, sometimes you gotta go, hey, I was born there, but you know, I'm British, so there's an isekai for everything. There's even a Putin isekai manga called what? What the fuck? You could not get past the few. You are insane if you couldn't get past the few. You are actually insane, dude. You're so brain rotted if you actually. Bro,
creative with it.
Some of you guys don't even deserve good writing. How about that, huh? Some of you guys you should live in your own slop, man. Live in the slop. I'm a refined slop enjoyer, man.
Modern isekai, even though there is a very small amount of works that are actually doing this, there are some modern isekai shows that are doing that and that get talked about. And if it's not an isekai, then they're using isekai elements to create some kind of new, unique, and interesting story that maybe all of these other isekai slop shows haven't really tackled. So yes, as much as I want to just mindlessly hate on all isekai out there, I think that is an unfair assessment. I think what they need to be doing again is quality insurance and really pushing to these authors to be like, just because...
To be honest, when it comes down to it, it's because people eat up the slop, first off. Second off, it's because it's easier to do the slop ones, the ones that are like brain dead. They don't have to do too much, so like the quality of the animation goes down because they're not really doing too much. Look at In Another World with a Smartphone, or whatever that anime is called, stupid anime is called, man. As someone who enjoys slop, I couldn't even finish that. I couldn't even finish that, man. That was too much, man. That was just too brain dead. But again, easier to animate when there's like barely anything happening, you know?
Your work is an isekai, just because your work is a nadoke, it doesn't mean that it's going to do well. If anything, you are undermining yourself as an author when you could be writing some actually interesting works that are unique to you as an author or unique to the genre that you are going to bench off of. Because it truly frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates a lot of anime fans out there, when we see all of these brand new season 1s of isekai slop that come out, while Kadokawa and all these other publishing companies are really taking for granted the isekai stuff that built the genre in the first place that haven't seen the limelight since then. I mean, even after all of these years, people are still asking for a season 2 of No Game No Life, for example. Or if they want to...
We're still asking for that? I think I rewatched that recently in the past. Maybe we add it to the rewatch list, but I'm pretty sure I rewatched it recently, and I don't think I like it as much.
To continue banking off of the whole light novel genre, then why don't they go back and make continuations of some of the classics that have proven to work?
Although I am a generational hater of fan service.
Outside of the isekai genre. Like, Kadokawa could pull a legit 5-head move and give us a continuation of Suzumiya Haruhi, or Sakuraso no Petto no Kanojo. They could give us a continuation of Toaru Index, or fucking Youjo Senki, or any of these shows that actually made light novel adaptations consumable for the everyday anime fan. Like, yes, the majority of the people who are going to be consuming these are probably going to be watching it purely...
I wasn't joking about the Putin isekai manga. It's a full 16-volume manga with some good art and writing.
16 volume. Dude, let me have a look. Okay. Okay, but... Bro. Oh, all right, dude. All right, buddy. Website? What website? What do you mean? Huh? You mean you buy the books, no? And you pay the proper digital licensing for the thing, you know? Right. Yeah. Dude. Truckcoon 2? There's no way. Okay. Ride on King. I'll add it to my notes when I have time. Oh shit. To read. Ride on King. Pause.
Based on nostalgia for the seasons that they probably were raised and brought up with, but also it's a good opportunity to show the newer generation of anime fans of these classics that still stand up to this day. Because I've always said this about content creation and the secret to longevity of content creation. You got to constantly switch it up. You got to constantly be giving people new things to talk about and discuss. If you do the same content over and over and over again, people are going to be bored of it.
I've seen some channels who spam the same video over and over. And they have like 100,000 subscribers.
And move on to something else. And clearly this is what's happening in the anime industry right now. But either way, that's just my opinion. That's just my own 2 cents about this.
Valid. Nothing here was wrong. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Isekai isn't killing anime. Isekai is just the murder weapon. True, guns don't kill people. People kill people, as a chud would say. Chud. Reincarnated as my dad to stay alive. Need to make sure I'm born. Dude, these are some recommendations, man. They clearly went overboard on quantity over quality. Yeah, it's easier, man. All I hear is we don't need more isekai. We need more based isekai. Enjoyers of the real essence of isekai, man. That's who needs to be in charge. Did you read through the Academy arc of Bloodhound? I think so. Princess, Confession, Red Haired Girl, back as Demon Host. I think